It's the start of the longest Formula One season ever. 23 races in 2023, and it all starts here at the Bahrain International Circuit. And here's how the calendar lines out. We start in Bahrain before moving over to Saudi Arabia and Australia, taking up into April. A month off before Azerbaijan, back-to-back with Miami. Imola then follows Monaco with the remaining May dates. Spain moves to June, along with Canada and Austria leading into July. British Grand Prix on the 9th of July, then Hungary, and then Belgium rounds us out to the summer break. We come back at the Netherlands, then Italy, 2 weeks later Singapore, back-to-back with Japan. Qatar back on the calendar with a sprint race. United States, Mexico, Brazil. New addition to Las Vegas as well on the 18th of November. The season rounds out in Abu Dhabi on the 26th of November. 23 races. It's the longest F1 calendar in history. Night has fallen here in Bahrain. It's time for the first representative runnings of the 2023 season. It's free practice 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix here at Shakir. Welcome to the night shift, under the night sky, in the desert. Let's take a look around the Bahrain International Circuit, a 3.362 mile circuit, 15 turns in total, 3 DRS zones as well. High elevation change up towards turn number 4. It's a fast, abrasive circuit. Get a good exit then out of the last corner and boot it hard towards turn number 1. Maximum usage as well of the DRS and ERS power. You're going 8th gear flat out, over 300 kilometers. Lap on the brakes very late, turn in very tight right-hander. Careful as you accelerate up the power, flat out through the kink at 2 and then the rise uphill towards turn 3 with the second DRS detection zone. Turn 4 flat out, braking around about 80 meters to go. Flick the car in once again to the right, let it drift out wide. Pick up the accelerator, don't go all 4 wheels off the white line as well, but try and use it as much as possible. Down to the sand dune section now, 5th gear, right through the curves as well. Get back on the power, heavy braking stop once again, down all the way, 2nd gear corner, back to the right. Power mid-on at the exit, rise up. Turn 9 and 10, double sweeping left-hander. Take the first one tight, brake hard and turn. A lot of lockers on the inside front left here as well. Into the tight turn 10. DRS opens once again for the 3rd time. Down you go towards turn 11. Important to keep the car moving, important to keep the brakes on. Light tap of the brakes down in 4th gear, power through mid-exit as well, right up the curbs. Now, turn 12 and 13, very important. Don't touch the curb at all, otherwise I'll spin you towards the wall. It's one of those type of circuits. Flick now, down, mid-through, the last turn 13. Down, once again, the long back straight, no DRS. You're going to have to pass here with ERS management as well. Into turn 14 as well, another heavy braking zone, down 3rd gear. Back again to the right, turn 15 is practically invisible as you hurtle down with the DRS open through the first activation zone across the line. That is a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit here in Shakir. Hello everybody and welcome to the second practice session for the what on earth? Megan's walked into the back of the commentary box. Are you here? I thought you... Well, we might as well.
Food delivery.
Food delivery. Oh, what have you got? Well, this is good. Hello, Josh, by the way. What have you got, Megs?
Okay, I found it.
Come in,
They're selling these at the shop.
Oh, I had some of those yesterday on the train. Barbecue beef hula hoops.
And, obviously, the usual jammy dodger.
How many are that now? 6 jammy dodgers?
5.
No, I counted 5, so 6.
Can I have some?
Can Josh have some here?
It'd be difficult to send.
Tell you what, I'll give you the brand though. It's Patterson's Scottish Bakers Jammy Shortbread.
They're good.
They're mighty good. Is that on screen? Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to throw out there. They're fantastic. So, when's your EPQ?
What time is it?
It's 2:50.
10 minutes. I've got to go upstairs, though.
How long does it last? That's my question to you.
I'm not sure, though. I'm very tired right now.
Good. I'll see you after your EPQ to the box.
No.
Yeah, you've got to come in for FP2.
No.
Yes.
No, you told me I have to come in for FP3 instead.
Yeah, but I've changed that round now. You're here. No, I've changed that round. I've changed that round. No. No, be here. See you soon. Bye-bye. Anyway, we're live. Go away now. Go away. Go away now. Live. Goodbye. Goodbye. See you in half an hour. No, she just said no. All right, well, that's annoying. Hello, Josh. Shall we just go with that? Hello, how are you?
Hello. Oh, Megan. Never gets old, does it? Anyway, it's a.
Does anyone
free
want to be a
practice-
replacement for her? She wasn't supposed to be here this year anyway. God, I'm stuck with her again. Go on. Hello.
Yeah, it's a. Hello, yeah. It's back for FP2, which is just gonna start in just over 8 minutes. I got it right this time. But it's gonna be interesting. McLaren with Norris fourth in FP1. So we'll have to see if their pace sticks, and with Aston Martin as well.
Senthal, if you're around and want to hop in the box for a session, you're more than welcome to hop in as well. I think Tom is busy, but we've got him on for FP3 tomorrow alongside Richie. Now it looks like Megan as well. Yeah, Senthal, if you want to hop on for practice too, you're more than welcome to. Because I know you've been having a problem with Viaplay, if you notice, as they've taken over exclusive rights with several of the companies as well. Second practice is moments away, as Josh said. This morning, though, Josh, the big surprise is Aston Martin do have pace, with Fernando Alonso being second. But as Jess pointed out in our chat, Lando Norris, fourth fastest. McLaren seemed to have something, and Mercedes were off the pace in 10th and 11th.
Yeah, they were, and we saw that Alonso was quick in testing, and we've seen him quick in FP1, but this is the time where qualifying and the race will take place tomorrow and Sunday. So this is where we will get the times that matter the most in FP2, and we'll have to compare FP2 times to qualifying times tomorrow. Of course, they'll be on the soft tyres for qualifying. They'll be trying to do as best as they can, but it will give us a little bit of an idea of the times that we could see in qualifying. I believe the fastest time, if I just have a look at the document which I made, was a 1:32.758 from Sergio Perez, a 1:33.196 from Fernando Alonso. But really surprising to see Lance Stroll up there, 6th, 1:34.298, especially just coming back from his injury with his bike, and we'll see if he can continue the whole weekend.
Yeah, and as you said, Carlos Sainz down in 20th place in that session as well. Was running long runs. We understand we're going to see more pace from the Ferraris this afternoon. Red Bull seemed to be going okay as well. Max Verstappen looking good. Sergio Perez topped the opening session, as you said, in FP1 just as well. The first time Red Bull have topped a season opening practice one session since 2021. So my question is, are Mercedes generally going to try and close up a Ferrari close enough, or are we going to see a situation now as Red Bull continue to sort of increase the lead they have over the field?
Well, I want to see Aston Martin keep their pace, but I do think Red Bull will be on top again for FP2, because we had Perez in first, we had Verstappen in third, and then, of course, we've said a couple of times now in the past 4 minutes, Norris fourth, yes, after their interesting, let's say the least, testing problems, but also Alpine as well. They had some problems in testing. They were 64,000 slower than last year, but the sun is setting, the lights are on. It's nearly time for practice 2.
Yeah, practice 2 coming up as well. Then we've got our highlights of F3 and F2's qualifying later on tonight. Practice 3, 11:15 a.m. qualifying from 2:30 GMT. Race starts 2 p.m. with lights out at 3. Let's go upstairs then. It's time to cross over. Time for the second session of the year. It's practice 2. And let's go up to the commentary. time to get going then for the second practice session of the year. The green flags can start to come in and then we'll get all set to go as well. Practice 2 from the Bahrain International Circuit is moments away, and fingers crossed it's going to be a very entertaining evening. We've grouped the races, there they all are, look, in some order, but we start in the Middle East. The first of 4 races we'll have over this side of the world. Bahrain, that's a 3.363 mile circuit, 63.3% full throttle on the lap, top speed at over 203.7 miles an hour, 15 turns in total, 16.8 meters as well is on the flat out mark. And it's looking absolutely fantastic. Tyre temperatures, well, they've decided to bring in the middle range as well. So we've got the hard C1, the medium C2 and the soft C3 tyre compound as well. Well, Tom Dillon has joined the commentary box alongside myself, and Josh plays as well. So, or is it now Josh? I don't know which one we're changing to between the two. But afternoon, Tom, are you okay? And I'll get you set up on the cameras. Track temperature's falling. We're going to see the glory runs. Are you wearing a headset?
I am wearing a headset, Josh. Yes, it's a long story, and it's potentially quite a funny story. But the long story short is that my other microphone does work, but I decided that well, for the USRN and the radio stuff, it might sound a little bit more studio-y to put a headset mic on. So I've tried it out, and well, I thought I'd practice, do a nice little test run. It's only a cheap one. I'm not too sure how it sounds, but
sounds great. Sounds great. Josh, you too have headsets, so we've all got headsets for the first time.
Well, I mean, I could if I really wanted to. Now, the thing is about having drawers.
You've got multiple things.
Is that I can literally just grab this and then set my handheld up if I really wanted to. But no, I'm not, because we are moments away from practice 2. And I'm going to sit down because it's time for, as you said, the glory runs.
Glory runs coming, and that's what we're going to have to see. Really, I'm expecting something, as right now we're seeing an image of Sergio Perez on Max Verstappen in the car rather than Tom on the Discord call. So while I just adjust that one as well, Tom, tell us, coming into this weekend, are you expecting to see a lot of action in terms of overtakes? It's an evolution, not revolution, and we were having problems last week when we saw the testing. Are you expecting any similar problems coming into tonight with long run pace but not really being there?
I haven't been able to catch much of the practice 1 session, so I'm not too sure where the teams stand in that regard. We'll have to wait and see as ever. I think logic will dictate that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pass this year than it was last year, obviously because the teams have had more time to throw in some aerodynamic trickery and create some dirty air, which of course is the interesting battle that the FIA have got, because the teams want dirty air, they just want dirty air being kicked up by their own car, so that would dictate that this will be a little bit more difficult than the previous year. But I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I think it should be a very good race. Bahrain typically does deliver on that front.
Certainly does indeed. Well, all is set up and roundabout bang on time, because we're 30 seconds away from the start. I'll save that and then do the third one later so that we're not messing around in future. Usually it's the top 2 and then I'm at the bottom on the Discord call, but it's changed around a bit. There's Tom, all with headsets. It does look great, Tom. I haven't seen it in person. That's a great headset with the mic as well. It does suit you a lot better than a the one you have on the side.
It only cost about 25 quid. I'll tell you the story because you've got a moment. So I was doing a Nordschleife race with one of my friends in the MX-5s in Assetto Corsa, and my other headset was being used, obviously the one that is actually the same headset as this, just green and with a slightly older version. And without the microphone, and I got pushed off of the circuit. I went onto the grass, and it was an incredible save. Actually, I saved the car. I kept it in, kept the throttle planted. It was actually the best save, probably, of my racing career. But as I went through, I lost sound, and my headphone had come out of the jack, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. I don't have sound, so I came to plug it back in, and I realised that actually the metal thing had stayed in, but the wire had come off. So I had to buy another headset, which only cost about £25, but it was nice, and hopefully I now sound a little bit more
You do.
directed than
You
I
do.
did before on the blue snowball, which, let's face it, is on its last legs, being 6, 7 years old now.
You sound great. You're going to have to send me the link for that headset, though, because I'm just thinking that would make a perfect addition for when we have to use secondary combox systems instead of moving everything around. So that one looks great. So you have to send me the link for that one as they come out. Valtteri Bottas in out the circuit. First time we see the cars in their race spec coming into the evening as well. It's looking fun, and I suppose, Tom, that headset gets ready for IndyCar tomorrow, on Sunday as well, so that's even better. So it does look great. I'm obsessed with headsets and technology as well. Just,
Wow.
Go on, Josh. You've got all your setup coming up. Oh, photographers, hello.
Yeah, hopefully before the first, not the first one before after the summer break, because I'll be around. I'll be lurking around there, but I'll be at Cadwell Park for the most of that weekend. But the second one after that, which is Italy, I want to say Monza.
Yeah, it's coming up at Monza. Yeah.
You might see an extra edition this side of me.
Fantastic.
And you might see something dangling down and like a little boom arm here.
Oh, like we've got. Oh, fantastic. Even better, even better. Ted's in the pits as well. Ted, good afternoon.
Showing our real pace. Let's wait and see what happens in qualifying. Well, I'm having none of it. I'm going to take what we see in this qualifying simulation, in this practice session, as the gospel truth, as the known knowns. But there are still some unknown unknowns, aren't there, Crofty? And not least, what on earth is happening to Alpine? Slowest in the test, not quick in free practice 1, and I'm glad that we're looking at Esteban Ocon on the brand new soft tyres, because we're finally going to get an answer as to whether they're quick or not. I fear they're not very quick, but I'd like to be persuaded otherwise. We're about to get the answer.
We'd like.
Now, you lot gave me a proper going out over testing when I said Alpine are the slowest team on the grid. They had a shocking practice, and now they're having a shocking start to the second session. Is that car currently pink actually any good?
No, I don't. I agree with you. I think Alpine are one of the slowest teams of the grid currently, but Ocon's set in purple sectors because he is one of the first drivers to start a lap, if not the first driver to start a lap time. Carlos Sainz is behind him as well. Stroll was the first one to set a lap time, and that was a 133.624. And the two Alphas have set a lap time as well, but Sainz has taken that purple sector away from Ocon, but it is still early days, only 4 minutes into the session. So
Here comes Ocon towards the line. Fast sector 2, but Sainz will taking that away. He'll go top, but not for long. It's a 132.415 for Esteban Ocon. Yeah, Tom, testing 4 hours every day. The teams around about had 12 hours in the car for each driver. Is it fair to say that Alpine are struggling the same as Williams, and maybe even McLaren have had to shout over Carlos Sainz's very loud car?
Yeah, I think we are concerned about Alpine, aren't we? Into this season, we saw them in testing. They looked very shaky. They looked very dodgy as well. I'm not particularly impressed by them. I think it's the Fernando Alonso effect, as we were talking about. You get your team totally ruined by Fernando Alonso. And again, I am concerned for Alpine. I think this is going to be a difficult season for them.
Right, first time this year, Martin Brundle down to track turn 4. Sorry, Tom.
I must say, judging by the speed that they arrive and carry through the corner. Mercedes-Benz, on their brilliant information they send us, said that it's a minimum speed through of about 70 miles an hour. I have to say it looks faster than that. Not that car, because it's on an outlap. Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. But it's really quite interesting here because you can see how the track is cambered in the driver's favour. And then as they pick up the throttle through the exit, the track falls away, and torque demand, as they would call it, we would call it an accelerator or a throttle, when they ask for power. And the Red Bull there, I tell you what, that wasn't particularly well hooked up, but it was running extremely wide. And I'm noticing quite a lot of the drivers are committing to the apex and then running wide. And on the exit there, just over the hill, in the middle of turn 4, sort of through, you can just see over there. That's where the sensor is for track limits. And in practice, in the 3 days of testing, they triggered it just under 1,000 times because it didn't really matter. As soon as it matters, then they're going to get lap times taken away from them. The drivers will sharpen their act up here and keep the car within the track limits. The Haas around the outside there, and you can really see which car has got traction, which car's got the rear grip, so the drivers can get on with it. I saw the McLaren do something a little bit odd here. They just took a little skip and gave up grip, as if there was something got excited in the suspension, or aerodynamics, and then one affected the other. But you could see the driver just as the McLaren driver just as going over the top of the crest there. The car looked something happened. It was a general movement rather than just most of them are just the back tyres are complaining basically because they can't get 1,000 horsepower into the ground. And a good reminder here, you need air plugs with these cars now. We didn't obviously in the early days of the hybrid, but it will hurt your ears in a hurry. But we'll just see if anybody else comes down here at a rapid rate. The Red Bull is coming down here very slowly indeed, actually. So I may have missed those, or we may have completed those early fast runs, Crofty. Anybody out there? Here we go. Here comes
Alonso.
An Aston Martin, and it's Fernando Alonso, and a lot of confidence around the outside of another car there. Lovely, crispy throttle movement. And once again then, the McLaren having a couple of little moments to settle down before it took off down the road. And that's what I'm going to do now and find another corner, Crofty.
Well done, Martin. Let's see a replay coming out of the pit lane of Charles Leclerc. He's on the radio.
Guys, there's still something strange with the clutch.
With the clutch.
So let's look at it.
Okay, we'll do it.
So something at the clutch on Ferrari, and it was jogging a little bit down the pit lane as well, and barely got up to top mile per hour in the pit stops as well. And then this is Perez, I believe, having a moment down with cars ahead of him. Sainz is one of them. Whoa, nearly wiping out the back of Carlos Sainz coming into turn 8 on warm-up laps. The track's getting busy out there, Tom.
Driving a new car in Anchor really for the first time, though of course we are going slower at the moment than we were throughout much of testing. Oscar Piastri had an issue with the AlphaTauri, very crowded out on the circuit right now. You forget how crowded actually cars, 20 cars on a track can be. Both of them had DRS open, and well, the AlphaTauri, oh my word, the Aston Martin was stopped almost on the apex.
Lance
That
Stroll.
was a very, very close moment.
Of course it was Stroll.
Actually, for Oscar Piastri, I didn't see the Aston Martin.
I didn't.
And Oscar Piastri didn't either.
It's Stroll coming out of the pit lane, and he's gone over the mark, and Stroll getting involved and everything. Well, that was Stroll coming out of the pit lane and not paying attention. This is Sergio Perez coming down. Is this live? Yes, it is. So I didn't spot it, and that's a problem with the night race as well. The darker coloured painted cars, you just can't spot them going into the corners of the braking zone. It came out of nowhere, so cat-like reactions there for Oscar Piastri. Young has its advantages there. Afternoon Jess, who says, afternoon Josh and Tom. Glory runs are happening early, it seems. It does seem that way. Track temperature 27 degrees, air temperature 23, so we're getting faster runs coming through. Problems with clutch? No, says Jess. Yeah, not looking good as they come through. Tom, do you think we could see Ferrari effectively struggling massively now if we're having these problems this early in the session? Are they going to take more time to lose out? Because Leclerc has gone fastest on a 1:31.8.
No, I don't think this is a major concern for Ferrari. The clutch, again, is something that they can fix sort of software-wise. It might just be they've taken some mapping, some testing, used them and taken them through into this week, and then just decided that actually they actually now need to change those things within the software. So I'm not particularly concerned for them. I think, again, it's something that might happen as we go through into the race, potentially, if there is some kind of problem. Again, nothing that can't be fixed very easily, and especially when the car gets back in. But it would be typical for Ferrari to bring a not working car to the first round.
I've had a lot of people, I've said this before to you, Tom, and now a lot of people are also saying the same thing to me, but it's more so with your new headset. You sound like Ant Davidson again. Like, more so than ever with that headset on. It's because it's directional. I'm hearing your voice, Tom, and I'm thinking Ant.
Well, I still don't see this. You know, Anthony Davidson, I mean, where is he from? He's definitely not from around here in the West Midlands, so I don't think our accents are particularly...
Well, hang on, here you go. Here you go.
Yellow.
Oh, it's Piastri.
So the C0
Right, here's Ant.
is that hard tyre from last year. It used to be the C1 as Piastri's gone wide.
There's 100.
So that was Ant, and then you talk, Tom. Say Piastri's gone off for turn 1.
Piastri's gone off at turn 1.
Do you see what I mean? It's
No, I don't know.
All right. Look back. Maybe you'll see it when you look back. But honestly,
maybe.
you sound so similar.
Although your own voice does always sound different to how other people hear your
That
your
is
own
true,
voice. So
yes.
there is that.
Okay.
Big lock up into 1 for Piastri, going straight on. Go on, Josh. Oh, hang on. No, 2 seconds,
wait, yeah.
Josh.
Oscar, is everything okay?
Yeah, the flat spot was too bad. Copy.
Flat spot's so bad. That's his second flat spot he's had on there, so he's coming into the pit lane as we look at some old static. Back to you, Josh. As God, this session's 10 minutes in and already there's so much drama to try and keep across everything on. Go on, Josh.
Yeah, it really is. Anthony Davidson is from Hertfordshire. So,
Oh, of course he is. Harvard, yes.
but
Hemel Hempstead,
anyway,
to be particular.
Say again.
yes.
Hemel Hempstead, to be particular, voted the ugliest town in the United Kingdom.
Well, okay. I couldn't think of
That
several
went
others.
that went down very quickly.
Well, of course, the issue is that Wolverhampton's now classed as a city, so they obviously couldn't go there. I've never been to Hemel Hempstead, so I don't know, but there you go.
What I've heard from about Wolverhampton is when you go into Wolverhampton train station, what is the best thing to do? Leave.
Okay, you said that, not me. Let's have to point out, I never say anything about Grimsby, but all I'm saying is the fact is that who's through to the, was it 6th round of the FA Cup? Quarterfinals?
Grimsby.
Hello.
Who has knocked out... Oh, Felipe Dragovic is up in the comms box. You going there?
Yes, I am, and I'm going to go get a town shirt.
To the golf buggy and a quick drive.
Yeah, Felipe, just because you're the F2 champion, you can't just jump into a golf buggy all the time. That's reserved for proper F1 drivers, you know?
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Oh, well, it could have been for this weekend. Lance has made a recovery. How do you feel about that?
No, first of all, I think we all wish him a good recovery. I think he's still recovering, but for the moment, it looks like he's feeling well and doing a good job. So, yeah, I think I need to stay ready in case he needs me.
You've done the test, though, and the team are keeping you fully informed. But at any stage were you thinking quite excitedly, this could be my big debut this weekend?
Yeah, you know, I think anyone in my position would think like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no denying that I wanted to drive, but obviously, you know, that's his seat and he's doing a great job with it. So, yeah, I'm just going to be around and ready.
So, we'll just wait for this radio message.
I also feel like the car is just jumping around a lot more.
I'll confirm 2 seconds. Okay, understood.
Yeah, it is jumping around a bit more, coming to the corner. Well, I'm not gloating or anything, chaps, but it is a very old shirt. It was my sister's shirt that she made me wear for the match on Wednesday. But she says, I've had to bring it back from where she lives on the train. I had to bring it back. And she's making me wear it on the day of the semi-final. So...
Quarterfinal. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Sorry, we were getting ahead of ourselves as well. We want to face United, but still. I'm wearing it. It's the 98-99 shirt, Dixon's, with the sponsors back then, of course, now defunct. But just you know, you might be wearing this in Saudi Arabia for one of the. I don't know when in Saudi Arabia, if it's Saturday or Sunday, but I might have to have this on if I'm in the commentary box at the same time. But I'm just gloating.
And still, in your own commentary box, only the second largest team on this broadcast.
Is it?
Yes, I've got an Aston Villa top on.
Oh, you do, don't you? There you are. Yeah, there you are. Josh, go get you need a football shirt.
Well, one problem is that I'm a Brighton fan and my dad's a Crystal Palace fan.
Ah, so presume. Hang on, aren't Brighton through? Aren't we facing Brighton? No, who are we facing?
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah, I
are
thought
facing
so.
Brighton, so there's
Yeah.
going to be a massive battle between the two josses.
And you're in Saudi Arabia as well. Oh, great. Oh, so that's going to be fun.
Well, what I will say, which is a little bit haunting, is that, and pretty good for Grimsby, is that apparently, if I get this right, Grimsby have defeated,
A lot of
well, one against. Every round they've done, they have won against a team which is in a higher league than them.
That is true, yes. Yeah. Premiership was the last one. We face now Brighton as well. So, are you wearing hammers, did you say? What you wearing? Tom?
Aston Villa.
Aston
of course.
Villa. Oh, I thought it was West Ham.
I
looking
can
at a
go
very
get,
tiny
I can
screen.
go get my Brighton hoodie if you want.
It's only like half of my personality, the fact that I'm an Aston Villa fan.
I seem to remember it now. I was just thinking that's why I went. I will take this off in a few minutes, I promise. But right, I'll tell you what. It's like that scene. Do you remember? You can see me. And there's nothing going on the track right now with Leclerc fires for Sainz second. Do you remember that scene in whatchamacallit, Johnny English? Just active camouflage. Just stand against the checker flag wall and see where I am. Active camouflage.
I've never watched Johnny English, so I don't know.
I could actually just hide. It's pretty much. That's where the flags are from anyway. They're not racing flags. They're town flags. Let's see.
Really?
Yeah, 2013 is the end one. 2008, the first checker flag is this one, and this one was actually just brought to complete the set in the middle. But the two either ends are town flags.
Is the Grimsby logo on there? Badge?
No, just pure checkered flag. That's what I was amazed about it as well.
I've not got a lot of Aston Villa stuff around me. Actually, I've got a scarf. I've got a banner. But no, not. Maybe I need to sort some stuff out and put it in the set. But anyway.
This one here, on the left of your, on the right of your commentary monitors as you're watching. This one was from 2008. We got from a service station when we were going to the.
That is very scary.
Yeah, we were facing MK Doms that day, and we lost. But the flag was fantastic. I've been after one of those for years. And then 2 weeks later at the Spanish Grand Prix, Megan sat on the stick and broke it. Yeah, never forgave her for that. This one over here was brought back in 2013. This is a reminder. My nan brought me this, and I love it ever since. But it is a reminder to me also, don't miss a Grand Prix, because it was on the same day as the 2013 Malaysia Grand Prix. So I didn't watch that race live. I had to commentate on it on the Monday night, which included an entire day not knowing about Multi-21, Seb. That's a reminder, don't miss a race. And then this one here was bought because we had a German flag in the middle for a German Grand Prix, and I was like, well, I can't afford to spend £5 per race as the calendar was getting bigger, so I bought a third checker flag. And the banner was made by my friend Luke as well. And it goes across. So that's pretty much it.
I could get my checkered flag background.
Good. You've got a checker flag background? Oh, is it green screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Tom, get a green screen.
Well, you know, I did actually have a green screen for a time, but it was short-lived. And to be fair, I also find green screen for commentary a little bit.
Where is my green screen?
That's true. It's a picture background, isn't it?
No, there is no. I can touch the window. There is no green screen.
How do you do it then, backtrack?
It's just Discord video background.
I can't do that because I'm not on Discord. Yeah, that's why I need a green screen.
Oh dear, Sergeant with a huge slide.
Oh.
A bit of a snap of oversteer out of the final corner, Ted.
Felipe and yourselves and everybody exactly what's going on. So this is the car that Felipe was in last week for a day and a half alongside Fernando. I mean, there was only one car testing, there weren't two, so it wasn't much of a choice. But yeah, the cars are being turned around now, and Stroll and Alonso down here are going to be going out. And mechanic just checking the underside of the front wing. That's fairly normal, but he is giving it a good feel. So I hope. Oh no, he seems to be happy with it. Good, that's excellent, and no sign of anything amiss on either car. But yeah, no, just a question for Felipe really. I mean, the team boss here, Mike Crack, who's actually on the team on the pit wall. He's the one standing up. If you're wondering, he doesn't. He
always stands up.
Yeah.
Even in the office, he stands up.
He's one of those stand-up deskers. Yeah. So he doesn't like sitting down. There we go. He's turned around. Hello, Mike. was really singing Felipe's praises. I don't want to embarrass him, but he was saying on the last day, really, that Felipe, quote, did not put a foot wrong all week. And I just want to know, Felipe, was it a bit of pressure on you not to spin the car or to crash it or anything like that? Were you holding anything in reserve, knowing how important the test mileage was to the team? And how was encouraging was Mike Crack and everybody on that pit wall to you over that week?
Yeah, I think the team has been, really supportive. They really helped me out throughout those 3 days and 2 mornings that I did. Obviously, I had a little bit of pressure, because I was not the last to test, so anything I could have done to the car might have impacted also on Alonso's testing. So, there was always a little bit, just to keep the car safe and do whatever the team was asking. But I think I did a quite okay-ish job and enjoyed it. But that's most important.
We got the second run. You're with us for the next few moments. So we have to ask the question, because you've been in the garage, yeah? We haven't been in the garage. We've just been in the commentary box thinking, that car looks good. How good is the Aston Martin this year?
Well, I can only say it's a big step forward from last year. I drove both cars, obviously not in the same track, but I can already feel it's a big step forward. The car is performing really well. But you never know. You have to wait and see until tomorrow evening. That's when all the questions are going to be answered. But everything was feeling fine. The car was performing good. Both qualifying sim and also race simulation were both really good. So let's wait and see tomorrow.
Fantastic. So the Aston Martin does look good. Taking the town shirt off now as well. But my God, when you take it off, is it staticky? Tom?
I was going to say slightly off topic, but I found a very interesting story on the F1 Feeder Series Twitter account, or Feeder Series now, as it's called, and it's about Christian Mansell, the Formula 3 driver, ahead of this weekend. He's got type 1 diabetes. And he's been given a technical exemption, on medical grounds for Bahrain. So what they've essentially done, he's now wearing a blood sugar level monitor, and he's got a mobile phone in the car that is connected to an app that allows his coach to monitor his blood sugar levels live during the race. And essentially, if there's a problem going on there, the coach is able to communicate to the driver that his blood sugar levels might pose him a safety risk, and obviously he's allowed to come in to the pits and obviously get himself sorted out and safe. So that's just a very interesting story I've seen online ahead of this F3 weekend.
That's insane. I mean, I was thinking the FIA have a no-needle policy, don't they, throughout the weekend? So we would have had to have an exception for that as well, for the insulin. But my goodness me, that's quite something as well. There's Leclerc Sainz seconds.
Stroll, purple sector 1.
Yeah. Oh wow. So that Aston is going quick. We're with him now, actually, coming down the section. It's a 29.221 in that first sector as he's beginning to push hard. What a story for Mansell, says Jess. Live timing on, says Sire as well. Looks good. Well, we flick between the two. We get the live timing and the driver tracker on all the time, so we can still do the commentary. Yeah, what a story from Mansell. Absolutely fantastic. Hello to Amber 6 as well. Vamos Checker, that's good. And I think that's the point, isn't it? As Stroll's fastest sector 2 now, 39.373 on the soft tyres. So Stroll's really getting to push. He's 3/10 quicker than Leclerc in the glory runs. I'm going to stay with this actually, Tom, as talk us through the end of the lap.
One more corner to go. Lance Stroll, fastest sector 2, of course, 131.8 to beat. Here he goes, braking onto the curve into the final corner. Fourth gear, a little bit of a slide on the exit, all the way out to the left-hand side and onto the curb, up to the line. Lance Stroll, it will be fastest. It will be 0.3 of a second faster than Charles Leclerc on those soft tyres, 131.4. And Aston maybe starting to believe a little bit of their own hype. But, Josh, it's very, very early days at the moment.
Hulkenberg sector 1, purple.
Oh, so he is. Hulkenberg looking quicker now with the 29.098. So the track temperature's dropped to 26 degrees, as you can see on your monitor there as well. There's the timing screen, and this is coming out of the pit lane. One of the McLarens of Lando Norris. Revving slightly, 70 kilometres now, and AlphaTauri gets released into his path.
descent. Yeah, I was just crashed in the pit lane. Yeah, we see. We will get in touch about that. He just went straight in front of him.
And you can't blame him.
What the hell was so that was the mechanic? It's not Sonoda's fault there. It's not his fault completely. And this is Magnussen. Magnussen's had a problem coming out of turn 8. Big snap over the curb again. So we had Yuki Tsunoda there getting called out by his engineer. The engineer, by the way, who was looking in both directions and just says, go for it. Hulkenberg fastest of all. 131.376. Not going to last long though. Look at Checo Perez. Fastest middle sector. Anyone goes to the top by 0.3 of a second. It's a 1:31.078. But that is De Vries 16th. Here comes Hamilton. Piastri 2 and Alonso is fastest of all sector 1. Fernando's looking quick. Norris is 4th. Cross the line comes Hamilton. He can only do 4th. 1:31.543, Tom. It's all kicking off now.
Absolutely. It's all kicking off right now as Charles Leclerc goes to second fastest. Fernando Alonso is purple in sector 1 and green in sector 2. He's a few seconds away from crossing the line, hoping we get a shot of it, because this could be Fernando Alonso going top of the timing tower, and it is!
Yes, yes,
31, 130.9, we're into the 30s.
We're getting quicker. We're quicker than last year's pole time in practice too. This is amazing. Fernando Alonso at 1:39.07. Fastest sectors 1 and 3. Are we starting to think that Aston have genuine pace? Stroll is 5 tenths off. He had no testing in the car. Alonso's a 10.5 clear. Fantastic for Fernando.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look. There is the pit wall. The Aston Martin pit wall, they're all going yellow now, but we should see some more fast times. Here it's Verstappen. Looks like he is going to start a lap time. Let's have a look. Yes, he is currently down in 20th. He's got some green, mini sectors, and we'll have a look at what his sector 1 time is as he comes up into turn 4 with the white flag showing. And that white flag will be for Lance Stroll
he's
as he goes through turn 5.
He's 2.5 tenths down. What's going on with Max Verstappen? 29.271, Tom.
He was a little bit slower in practice 1, wasn't he? Though we didn't read too much into it. I'm not too sure what's going on with Max Verstappen. To answer your question, I think maybe this could be just a little bit of Red Bull sandbagging ahead of the qualifying session. I hope it is. I really do hope it is. But anyway, if I was going to make a point about something whilst we were here, and as I was answering that question, it's totally gone out of my head. There he goes, purple in sector 2.
Yeah, 38.959 with 2 personal best mini sectors. Do you reckon, Josh, that Aston have held back a little bit, or they just gone all out now? Will Alonso be sandbagging? And this has been 2 seconds. This is a poor lap from Verstappen, but manages to go second. Go on, Josh.
Yeah, maybe Gasly 2 green sectors, but I'm just having a look. It was De Vries and Norris in the pit lane who had that incident, not Tsunoda and Norris, and it has been corrected on the race control messages as well. But I really do hope that this Aston Martin pace does stick as Gasly goes 7th, 1:21.475.
So he was up in the second sector, Verstappen, got held up by Stroll in sector 1. Sector 3 was a little bit off, but 41 years old, Fernando Alonso. He's driven for Minardi, he's driven for Renault, McLaren, back to Renault again, then went to Ferrari, then went back to McLaren, then went to Alpine, which was technically a different team, that was his 5th. Then went now over once again, and he's gone and joined Aston Martin. It's his 7th team in Formula 1, Tom. Does he actually stand a chance of being a world champion this year? Oh,
no.
No. Straight up no.
No, he doesn't. No, it's not going to happen. Not this year. Anyway, as I said in testing, I think maybe there is one last chance for Fernando Alonso, but I don't think it happens yet, and I don't think it happens this year. I think that's too early. He needs time to gel with that team. They need time to build the car around him, and then maybe he can have a chance in the next couple of years. But right now, absolutely not.
Give me a driver name. I've got all 20 on the Sky F1 app that I can go look on board with now. You two can, Tom, as well. If you haven't checked that out on the Sky F1 app this weekend, you've got access to all 20 cars on board now, which is fun. Let's have a look. Who's on that? I want to take a look at Verstappen still, although I swear I just saw a yellow.
I'd have a look at Pierre Gasly in the Alpine.
Got
That
him.
seems like a interesting one
Well,
to have a look at the moment.
We've opened up Gasly's on board, whether or not the iPad wants to work with us because the Wi-Fi is being a bit of a thing. I wish they would put it on the MacBook again. I wish they would have it on Race Control. In fact, Josh, you've got a spare laptop. Could you just take a quick look to see if they have put it online this year, the Sky F1 stuff on their skyf1.com, while I change over to a different device?
I had a quick look earlier, but I'll have another look.
Tom, what are you expecting then coming through as well? Because Gasly, 7th fastest on a 1:31.475, goes 7th. Is he going to be quite strong coming into this weekend with AlphaTauri? Sorry, with Alpine, a new team after leaving AlphaTauri, is where I was going with that.
Force of habit. I get it, but no. Again, I think Alpine are looking at C at the moment. I'm not reading too much into one good 7th lap time, though these are, of course, the qualifying runs at the moment. 7th position at the moment. Gasly can perform in that car, and he probably will at some point this season, at some stage in this season, but I'm definitely not expecting consistent points finishes from that crew. I just don't see it really happening. I think there's so many other cars that are going to be permanent fixtures in this top 10. When you look at the Aston Martins, you look at even the McLarens, potentially with Lando Norris getting right back to business in 9th at the moment. I think even Haas are going to be difficult to compete with this year for this Alpine side. I think everyone else has taken such marked steps forward, apart from perhaps Williams. I just don't see Alpine being able to also take those steps forward, or having have taken those steps forward at the moment in the early stages of this running.
Megan has now looked at and seen that Alonso is top of the board and has just texted me saying, I'll be there in a few minutes, after saying that she wouldn't be in the commentary until pre-practice 3 tomorrow. She's now realised, hang on a minute, Alonso is fastest here. I could be on to a winner. So it's looking good, but kind of don't want Fernando to win this weekend because of that curse. Josh, we mentioned it in practice. Tom, I'm sure you know about it. Every driver since 2016 who's won the opening race hasn't won the title. It's a big curse.
I didn't know about that curse, actually. So there you go. That's an interesting curse. It is true, isn't it, come to think of it? But who won the opening race in 2020?
Bottas, Austria. It was Bottas.
Of course.
Yeah, Bottas won week 1, and I think who won week 2? Hamilton, yeah, he bounced back, didn't he? And this is on board with George Russell. What's he done? Coming through the chicane area. Russell radio.
That's exactly.
Please check the floor. Coming out of 6 and 7. Exit a bit wide. Not that we're hearing much of the audio.
That's exactly what happened to Kevin Magnussen, wasn't it? At that very same corner. Well, on that very same curve. Anyway, the exit curve out of the snaky section. Maybe I need a track map for my future commentary notes. I was. Long story cut short because I know we're slightly pressed on time. I had to give a talk yesterday, a small talk, about 10 minutes, to a class of Year 10 students about the importance of making commentary notes. And then I haven't made any notes for this weekend. So there you go. If anyone from there has managed to track me down.
Discord.
Then,
Discord.
I was talking. I'll check Discord. Oh my goodness me. That is incredible. Thank you, Josh.
Oh.
Can you do this every week for me?
I do them every week myself, so yeah, may as well.
But anyway, yes. 13 pages, Josh.
Oh, there's usually 35. It's just because it's the opening race of the season, it's smaller.
30. There's like 8 series on here.
Yeah, usually it's 35 pages because it's only the opening race of the year. There's little on race winners on the podium, pole sitter, Sunday stats. And usually I'll have a lot more. So I've got driver's notes, stuff I stick up on the wall, things like that. everything that looks documented, I made myself. Like, I made the driver stats, the Formula 2 driver stats, the team stats. Haven't made the Formula 3 driver stats yet. Do you know why? The grid only got completed 2 days ago, and there's 30 drivers. I'm only one person to write that all down. So I'll finish those ready for round 2 in Australia for those. But yeah, that's all my notes. That's what I have in my little folder here, including my little lovely stat pack. Go on.
So anyone who has tracked me down, I'm a fraud. I haven't made notes. I'm now nicking Josh's, which I have to say, a very impressive Josh. Very well done.
Nick,
Do not worry, Tom. You are not the only one.
Are you printing out my drive performance stats now with the best qualifyings and all that lot?
Yes, maybe.
Thought so. There we go. Down towards turn 1 on board with Carlos Sainz now as well. Hits the brakes hard. Does he lock up or run straight on? No. I think we were looking there. I think Tom at the porpoising and the bumping that we were having there, jumping up and down the track. Yeah, the sparks that were flying out there.
Yeah, there's there's that bump down into turn 1, isn't there?
Yeah, that we saw in
everyone
testing.
was complaining about during testing, and this circuit hasn't been resurfaced in its entire time of existing. Actually, Shropshire Stone, so not actually too far away from me. Next county over, Shropshire. I think, was it Shrewsbury or something that they're from, to be exact?
Yeah, it's a very old tarmac, isn't it, this one as well? It was made from around the corner from you and got shipped over here, didn't it? Because it was the first track built in the Middle East, Bahrain. First one.
Well, round the corner is probably a little bit of a stretch, but the proof I do make notes. I've got testing notes in my physical notebook here. A page for 3 days, but anyway. We move on.
Thanks for reminding me, actually. My actual notes page isn't in my book at the moment. I forgot about that. My little hand notes I write out. I haven't written any yet because I make them on Friday night about what's happening the weekend. So I'll just pop that back in here.
But yeah, around the corner for Shropshire is a little bit of a stretch. I mean, about 20-30 minutes away, maybe. I don't know. I don't often go to Shropshire. They've got a good shopping centre, actually, in Telford. It's a good shopping centre. But other than that, I don't really know much about Shropshire, actually.
Good green hills, of course, and it's where Shropshire's nice. It's near Wales.
Well, I just sort of see them as Staffordshire without our nice oatcakes. So.
Green Grass was based in Shropshire.
The song?
No, the the TV series, the spin-off of Only Fools and Horses. If anybody was interested.
But they don't have oatcakes, so.
No, that's true. Josh is now nicking my notes. You can see him, putting them in the printer. Let's have a word with Zach Brown, the team principal from McLaren.
Winter was good, but I'm excited to be back at a racetrack.
Well, we're excited to be back at a racetrack too. And the excitement in Bahrain is often huge for McLaren. It's almost like your second home race because of the investment behind you. What can you do for the Bahraini fans on this track this weekend? What are your goals and expectations?
Well, so far things are going well. The drivers are happy with the car. I think we've learned a lot in a short period of time since testing. So hopefully we can get into Q3.
That's it, Zach. Put the microphone a little bit closer to you. I can hear you, but only just.
We can hardly hear you.
Luckily, we can see your lips move. Thanks ever so much, Ted Kravitz.
Ted's
you had a problem in testing with the wheel brows, the fairings. Have they been fixed? Have they shown any problems at all today?
No, those have been fixed and no problems, so that's good. So we've had uninterrupted running.
That's brilliant. And Anthony?
Yeah, Zach, Anthony here. So we're
What's
seeing
going on with the audio?
obviously this is all quite new to Oscar Piastri. It seems to be a bit of a difference in FP1 and FP2 between Lando and Oscar. Are they on similar programs? Should we be concerned by this time difference yet?
Yeah, they're on similar programs. Oscar needs to, get his racecraft going. It's early in the season, obviously, and he's got a pretty tough teammate, Lando, so there's no concern at all. He's doing exactly what we want him to do, which is get some laps in and get familiar with the car.
Fantastic. Zach, thanks for joining us for the time being. We'll sort your microphone out a little bit for you when we next hear from him. Meanwhile, down at turn 10...
Martin Brundle. Okay.
Come on in.
Marty, down to you.
I'm sort of turn everything, actually, Crofty. We can see the cars climbing up the hill to 4, where we were a little bit earlier, and a bit of 6 and 7 and the hairpin of 8, and then 9. We see a lot of cars hitting the ground on the way in there, especially now they've filled them up with fuel. And as I know from American racetracks, some of the super speedways, whatever, often it's where there's a tunnel underneath the track, and this track has weathered incredibly well, considering it's nearly 20 years old. But there is a tunnel just underneath there, just as there's a tunnel down into turn 1, but underneath the approach to turn 1 behind me as well. And you do tend to get little ripples there, and that's where we saw Sainz fly off the road in free practice 1. They're managing it okay. You can see as soon as they've fueled up, they become very ponderous on this turn 10. They have to slow the car down, wait for it to settle, and then pick up and wait for the traction as well. And it's a dramatic difference when they suddenly put 100 kilograms of fuel in as to how reactive the car is, how the nose goes into the apex, and how lively, how urgent it is through the exit. Let's see, and that's a lock-up there for Fernando Alonso right in front of us with that unloaded front left as you're turning, dropping away, downshifting. And in fact, that's the first time I've seen anybody sort of really do that here since I've been here, 10 or 15 minutes. But fascinating spot. You can see the 2 drag strips down here. Just to the right of that, the F2 and F3 paddocks and pit lane as well. And it's all going on. It's very compact. Good use of the lands here. And once again, standing here, I haven't noticed the Red Bull absolutely on rails, if I'm honest, like I was expecting to after everything I'd heard and read. And as you pointed out, who knows just how much fuel they've got on board. But the Red Bull does have tremendous traction coming off this corner. Just seamless traction as we see the McLaren. Sometimes the McLaren boys have had to have 2 or 3 goes to coax the car, a little bit of correction into the apex. Looks like it's settling down a little bit now, but we're getting into that metronomic running now as they prepare for the race. And my app says it's 21 degrees out here, but it doesn't feel anything like that. It feels much colder, I must say. And I also found out this morning that they've done such a good job cleaning the track here since the test that there was nowhere near as much rubber down as they were expecting. And I also you were talking about it earlier on, that nobody wants to use their 2 sets of hard compound tyres because they think that's a genius race tyre, because it's pretty fast and very durable. I think that's a good tyre, which is why you're not seeing a lot of the white mark tyres out there in free practice 1 and indeed free practice 2. So the drivers starting to find their way. Obviously, they put everything together they learned at the 3-day test, and you know, hopefully they've got it all aligned. But I don't know, they're struggling a bit more than I expected, given how much, but given their evolution, these cars, rather than revolution as we had a year ago, and given that they had 3 really solid days tests where they completed over 4,000 laps between them. But and the Ferrari, I've seen Sainz run a little bit wide in here, but that time he hooked up the apex as sweet as you like. Back to you, Crofty. Over and out.
Thank you very much, Martin Brundle. The Wilderness Explorer is down there as well, if I get that switched off quickly. Megan. Oh.
Display 12, position 1. Display 12, position 1. We need to be on it, man. We cannot have these issues. Display 12, position 14. Display 12, position 14. Oh my goodness, man.
Well, Perez isn't doing incredibly well there. I'll take those headsets off, Megan.
It's very loud in there.
Yes, you're not feeling 100%, are you?
No.
No, you've had a long day, so you'll be in practice 3. But there's your man, Megan, Fernando Alonso.
You better stay in first. You were second in the first practice. You better stay in first here, and then for the rest of the weekend, stay in first.
He has just had a lock-up down at turn 9 on a long run, but that's a long run. He's been on those tyres a long time. There's Mike Crack on the screen there. Do you reckon... I know. Do you reckon Alonso's got a genuine shot? But remember this stat. Everyone who's won the first race since 2016 hasn't won the title. Do you think it's a good thing whether Alonso wins this weekend, or does it? Or don't you really care? Do you just want him to win?
I just want him to win.
Say that again.
I just want him to win.
You have to be...
I just want him to win!
You just want... Yeah. You haven't got your headphones on. You don't know what the difference is with the levels. Over with Lance Stroll, he's 6th fastest. He's had 5...
How's his wrist? Breakable yet?
Well, he hasn't had any testing in the car, and he's 5.5 tenths off the pace of Alonso, so I think that's quite good. I think we could be seeing an Aston 1-2 some point in the season.
We better be.
Yeah, better be.
Yeah. Especially for
think you
Aston
lot-
1 in the number 14.
Go on, Tom.
I think you lot need to curb your expectations, because how many times have we come into race 1 of the season? It happens every single year. People say, "Oh, Team X are going to win a race this year," or they could even be championship challengers or get a 1-2, and then they end up midfield by Australia.
I don't care. I just want Alonso to win 1. I'll be happy then. I'll be sedated if that happens. It's fine.
Just one race.
Yeah, I don't care if he doesn't win the title. I just want him to at least win 1.
Okay, as well.
Maybe sedated eventually. I don't think that's
sedated eventually.
directly
Yeah.
happens.
Okay, Megan, can I just point out,
What?
if we're in Abu Dhabi and Fernando Alonso is in a position for the title,
Keep me away from the table.
yeah, that too, but how uncontrollable are you going to be? And I'll throw that into if Alonso's leading the race on Sunday.
If I was near the table, we'd have to buy the entire set of equipment again.
Yeah, that's about $5,000, and I don't want to look at that again on the thing. Looking into tomorrow, then, when you're in this practice 3 qualifying and then the race, are you expecting Alonso to actually get through into pole position? He hasn't had a pole.
He better.
When was his last pole position? A long time ago. His last win was Spain, 2013.
I'll even accept a pole.
He was 2nd in Canada. You weren't in that one last year.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you, Megan. You can go now.
Okay.
What do you think of the microphone? You've been saying over the winter that he looks.
I keep wanting to eat it.
It looks like an ice cream, doesn't it?
I'm finding it hard not to do that and bite off.
Yours arrives soon, by the way. Round about your birthday.
Oh yeah, your birthday present. You should actually make that my birthday present.
Probably should, actually, yeah. Your little mic shield. Anyway, are you going to leave now?
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you, Megan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Give me a cup. You're right. Oh, Maggie not feeling well. You alright? You going to go relax now? Good. See you tomorrow. Thank you for the sweets. She says you're welcome. Thank you, Megan. Bye-bye. I can't hear you. What? I thought better that than Pepsi. Yes, that's true. Okay, Gasly radio. Thought better than Pepsi when there's no drink in the house and I haven't had a drink since practice 1. Okay, guys, back to you. There, Megan will be joining. What? Sorry? No, I'm fine. Go on. Ta-da, you guys. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Well, actually, no, because qualifying for F2. Anyway, back to you guys up here in the comms box as well, as Gasly is just doing some lap times. Do you generally think, Tom, that that Aston Martin are not top tier at the moment?
I think they've got potential. I did jokingly message my dad during FP1 saying it's actually happening. But no, it's difficult. It's difficult because right now, on the evidence that we've seen, yes, Aston Martin are looking like the real deal. But at the end of the day, will they be there for the first couple of rounds? Most likely. Do they have chance to go and challenge for this championship? And the answer for me at the moment is no. And I think it's still very, very early to speak on their chances of getting a race win this season, because it would be such a profound improvement for them that I don't think it's something that we can determine this easily. I don't know, basically, is my answer. I think it's too early to speak. I'll sit on the fence.
What do you think, Josh? Are you going to go over the fence? Knock it down even?
Maybe, maybe not. But what has Nick de Vries done here? While we wait, he's going into turn 9, and then does he lock up? Yes, he does.
Yeah, runs off.
And I've just realised. Let's just move these over here.
Have you completely just stolen my notes now?
Let's just move these over here.
Blood, sweat, and tears go into those.
Now, the ultimate sitting on the fence is sitting on the fence about a question where you're asked whether you've sat on the fence.
Yes, I am sitting on the fence. But I am going to read through these.
Well, they're
And-
very good. They're very handy notes.
Yes.
That's nice.
But I will not steal them because you made them.
Oh, you can steal them away. I don't care. I'm not Murray Walker. I don't hand them over James Hunt. Take the notes away. As
But
well.
I'd hide my notes from James Hunt purely because I don't want James Hunt to have them.
That's true. Yeah, I wouldn't let James Hunt have them as well. If this was Ed we were talking about, I wouldn't give him my notes. I joke, of course. I always send
Well-
Ed notes.
Well, Ed, if you're Watson, beware.
Yeah, Tom, are you around for Sao Paulo? I think I've just lost a commentator. Nah,
I mean, it's a bit of a. I don't know what I'm having for dinner, let alone what I'm doing in October.
That's true, actually. Trying to organise Tom in the commentary box is literally like trying to catch a wild horse. It's just like, stay here, stay.
Because I've got about 10 commitments. It's actually getting a little bit silly at the moment.
Someone, I don't know who, has decided that they will do classification documents for mostly every single series and mostly every single session that we cover. Why? I do not know.
Even I find what we cover too much.
Am I going to regret it? Probably.
Josh, do you remember me sending you my weekend schedule for, was it Zandvoort in the end? And
Yes.
it was just, I ended up having a commentary on average every 2 hours.
Yeah, and
It's incredible.
F3, F2, then he went to endurance and he came back. You had about 2 hours sleep the entire weekend.
Yeah, that was not nice. This weekend's not so bad. I've got some Rocket League business tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. But overall, the weekend's pretty chill. I'm relaxing.
I'm not saying that I spent the winter completely bored, but I spent the winter for once actually being good and prepared myself for the season ahead, considering it's the longest ever across everything. Every single session time, every single show time, everything we need in the season is in one timetable document, so I know exactly where everything needs to be for the entire year. Me and Jess calculated that's over 600 shows.
Matthew Owens has learned. He started messaging me every couple of days. You still good for NASCAR this weekend? You still NASCAR this weekend? Remember, you're still good for NASCAR this weekend.
Lance, we need to compromise 1 and have a better line in 2. So compromise turn 1 for 2.
Oh.
Yeah, copy that.
Oh, that is interesting. So they want him to have a better line through 2, so you go a wide turn 1 apex, but he can't do it with his hands. Tom, I'll start with you, because I said this in practice 1, and Josh had his thoughts on it as well, so I'll start with you with this one again. Lance Stroll, not good enough for Formula 1, and now he's complaining about the team that he has a great car under him for the first time in his career, and he's moaning that he can't do what the team have asked him to do. How long until the team revolt against him?
No, he's broke his wrist. I mean,
even before that, he was moaning.
They can't ask him to be Superman at the end of the day.
Well,
but
why is he in the car then? Why did they put Djokovic in? Why put Stroll out there if he's not in a position to make the car work at its best?
Well, he did extensive simulator running over the course of the last couple of days. He did a full race distance. When was it that he did his full race distance? I think it was maybe Wednesday night.
Yeah.
He did a full race distance.
Yeah, I think so.
In the simulator, so of course it's not perfect compared to the actual racing. So they've obviously just told him, you've got to go out there. And at the end of the day, even if he isn't quite 100%, they've got to get him into this car. This is the best chance Aston have had for a very long time. He's just got to be there, even if it means compromising his line into turn 1 or whatever. My concern would be that it's not going to heal properly, and he's just going to keep making it worse. A little bit like as Kevin Magnussen goes slightly wide into turn 10. My concern would be if Lance Stroll here ends up with making this injury worse at Bahrain. Some very technical tracks coming up. Saudi Arabia isn't too far away. Australia is up next. If it starts to get a problem, then Djokovic, I think, will get a run in that car. But they can't. You can't ask him to be Superman. He's got an injury. He's got to be in that car for so many reasons. You've just got to keep at it.
Josh, would you have put him in the car at all? I mean, Tom's just said yes, you've got to, because it's very important to get in there. But if you were a doctor, would you have said, go race the car? at over 200 miles an hour around one of the trickiest circuits that is, as Tom said, technical, probably making it worse. I mean, Marc Marquez in MotoGP had broken shoulders for 3 seasons, and was made to give up for 2-3 races.
Firstly, trust me, you do not want me in a doctor position. Secondly,
Yeah, you steal your patient's notes. Go on.
I would have, and here is Lance Stroll going
Okay.
into turn 1. Is he going to try the wide line, the wide exits? He
Yes.
is.
Oh, he's having to take his hands off the wheel and push it round because he can't.
Yeah.
Because he can't. So he's taken his. It's a butterfly wheel. So he's had to take his hand off and push the underneath of it to get around the corner. I don't know.
I would.
Yeah, that's not wise.
If I was a doctor, and I'll say it again, I wouldn't recommend me being a doctor in a doctor position. I would have kept him out of Bahrain, put Dragovic or Van Dorn in the car,
Yeah.
and prepared him even more for Saudi Arabia, because if he's doing Bahrain now, then Saudi Arabia is way more technical than Saudi Arabia. So maybe even keep him out of Saudi Arabia because of how technical the circuit is.
Tom, are the stewards going to step in here? Because he's just taking his hands off the wheel to get it round. I mean, I suppose Kubica. So go on.
They can't. At the end of the day, it's none of their business in my mind. You know, my doctor would probably tell me not to race go-karts with my back injury, but you still do it because at the end of the day, this is what they love. Lance Stroll doesn't want to be sitting on his backside playing computer games for a couple of weeks, or more likely training for the next race. You know, it's a competition. Sometimes you have to play through an injury. Footballers do it all of the time. These have got the best medical teams in the world in elite sports. It's no different here. He's just got to get through it. You just have to get through it. Don't care what the doctor says. At the end of the day, take painkillers and you get through it. Life is full of difficult situations, and Lance Stroll here, if he has to take his hand off the wheel into turn 1, well, that shows he's coping with it in my mind, and you've just got to get on with it.
I suppose it's positive to see as well that he is 6th fastest, and he's ahead of both the Mercedes in the long runs as well. He's ahead of Gasly. He's actually looking really strong. And I tell you what, we haven't mentioned it much. Josh mentioned him earlier on at the top of the show. Hulkenberg's 5th.
Can I just add one more thing to my
on.
point, actually? Sorry, Josh. Take into account, of course, if Lance Stroll comes out of the car today
and says,
look, I can't move my wrist. You know, the doctor evaluates him
2
tonight.
seconds, Tom. Flat critical, go on.
If the doctor says to him tonight, you know, he gets out the car and he's struggling with his wrist, he wakes up in the morning, he can barely move it, then the doctor says, look, you can't do this. That's fair enough. You know, my point, I think, is maybe I'm being a little bit too strong on it, but I think my point is that you've got to give it a try. You've got to try it out. You can't just sit at home and not at least try to cope with it. And so I think it makes sense that they have. As Nico Hulkenberg makes a lock-up into the second of their hairpins.
We were just mentioning him, as we said, 5th fastest in this session for the Haas. Magnus has done his 16th fastest, so all of a sudden, last year Magnussen was 5th and Schumacher was 16th. This year, Magnussen's 16th and Hulkenberg's 5th. So it seems that Haas only works if you're back in time, coming back into the series. Alonso is fastest, and if my memory serves, is about to top a practice session for the first time in a number of years. I think he topped one with Alpine once and Mega nearly blew up. But I can't remember the last time Alonso actually topped a session. I think it was Silverstone qualifying one year. I don't know when. But this is certainly something, because he's on a long run simulation now. The Friday talking point, Josh and Tom, whether you like it or not, it's Aston Martin ahead of Red Bull.
The hype is predictable. It's predictable, and I don't want to break everyone's hearts, but maybe I'll commentate it, goes it. But there's I just don't see. I can see them being competitive this season. I just can't see him winning this weekend. It's way too early to tell. Red Bull probably haven't shown their full pace. I mean, a Haas is in 5th for crying out loud. There's obviously more going on here than just Alonso is actually fastest, but he looks comfortable in the car, and you know, that's something. But you know, hold fire. It's not happened yet. When it happens, I'll be shocked, and I'll be wrong. But it's not going to happen.
All this
Yeah.
is out Q1. Go on, Josh.
Well, Fernando Alonso's last win was in Spain in 2013.
Stop
Let's just
looking
move...
at my notes. I know where you got that from. That's my driver's stats that I have up on my wall in the box.
What? No. What? No. No.
I swear they're wrong as well. There's only so much you can do with writing all those notes and finding out. But it's 201 starts for Bottas. We knew that was right. So I think they're pretty much spot on.
Yeah, it was the 2013 Spanish Grand Prix, as per
Yeah.
the mastermind that is Google. Other browsers are available.
Google?
Yes.
I didn't use Google. I used F1.com. And then a variety of motorsportstats.com. Motorsport Stats is a fantastic, fantastic website. Highly recommend that. I love that stat box. That's where I got all my F2 stats from as well. All that information.
It's the ESPN Crick info at the motorsport.
Yes,
And I love it.
I mean, that's where I'll be this evening as well. Unless I'm out, I'll be writing down 30 drivers' names for all of that, for Formula 3, and getting all their information.
I have to write... I don't even know how many drivers' names I have to write today when I'm doing documents.
Problem is, as I said, I did tell you that my pages, you said 13, that's a lot. It's usually around about 35 to 40 pages per weekend.
It is.
But the FIA didn't release a lot of information for this race. So, and because it is race 1, the driver standings aren't there. That's another 3 pages. The preview's not there. That's another page. So we're missing about 10 pages of notes, and you do feel a bit naked standing in the box, not having them. Because
Okay, I do actually... Oh, Russell Radio, sorry.
Yeah, but that's just because of the bumps. No need to worry there. Go on, Tom.
I do have a slight opinion on this. I always think, I mean, for me anyway, and again, commentary is never a black and white thing, and it does annoy me when people try and make it a black and white thing. Like, oh, you should be doing this, you shouldn't do this. But for me, I think 5 pages of notes is probably around the sweet spot, depending on the form. I think actually there comes a point where you've got too much information that when I'm going through a race, I don't need it. It doesn't add.
That's my point.
For the time it takes to make it, doesn't actually add much for me anyway. When I've been leading commentaries, but no, I mean it depends on your personal preference. But for me, I think 5 pages to maybe 6. I think 5 to 6 pages, probably around the sweet spot. I think you can fear having too much information.
Matthew Owens has just texted me saying, I enjoy you guys talking about notes. Matthew Owens, who's...
Oh, his notes are absurd.
Oh, they're fantastic. He sent me the notes for the Indy 500 last year. Very kind of him to do so. And I did use them, and I made sure I referenced him as well in the commentary. I had them alongside my notes in the comments box. But his driver stats are fantastic. And the way it's all laid out is absolutely brilliant. We're going to have to do the
NFL
class.
thinks the most absurd thing. Oh, there you go. Practice results. Then I'll finish my point.
Yeah, all right. Let's take a look at the session results then. Practice 2 here. Fernando Alonso ends the session fastest for the first time in an Aston Martin. Max Verstappen was a tenth and a half back in second. Sergio Perez is third. Charles Leclerc fourth. Nico Hülkenberg rounds out the top 5. Lance Stroll sixth, but was complaining that he couldn't do certain things with the car with his hand, unless we'll have more on that later on in the evening. Pierre Gasly was 7th, Lewis Hamilton 8th, Lando Norris 9th, Zhou Guan Yu rounds out the top 10. Esteban Ocon is 11th, Valtteri Bottas 12th, George Russell 13th, a second off, the last driver to do so. Sainz moved up to 14th after being 20th. He's having problems out there in that Ferrari. Oscar Piastri 15th, Kevin Magnussen 16th, Alexander Albon 17th, Yuki Tsunoda 18th, Nick de Vries 19th, and Logan Sargent 20th in the Williams as well. More to come for the teams tomorrow. But that was the race and qualifying simulations. The big time will be when we go to qualifying tomorrow.
My point about Matthew, Josh, is that I was on the Super Bowl with,
hang on,
Super Bowl
sorry.
YouTube. He was on
Go on.
the Super Bowl thing, and we'll be talking about he'll be talking about some random player, some third string tight end or something for an NFL team. Okay, and the tight end, 29 years old, out of Ohio, went to this university, blood type A+, ran 1,000 yards in this season, a 1.5% increase, and I'll have this every single one of the players. It's incredible. I don't know how that man makes his notes, but I want the technique because it's unbelievable.
I honestly call him Oracle. I call him an oracle because he knows every single thing we need to know about information. Every single thing down to the last detail he has access to as well. So great to see that. And we'll have Matthew on for a couple of races this year as well, across series, and probably doing some Indy cars as well. IndyCar, by the way, is on this weekend, 5 p.m. We go on air. I think Tom might be starting that broadcast and I join in, and then we'll be together for the race. If you are there, Tom, still for the race.
I need to check because NASCAR is at some point for the.
Oh, it's after.
I thought it was
after. Yeah,
I thought IndyCar was too late in the night.
No, IndyCar's on at 5:20 till 7, so it's just before the start of the NASCAR. Yeah.
NASCAR is at 8:30.
Yeah. So
so I'll be on both. That's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll be done by then. I don't know if they're commentating on it on USRN or we are. I've yet to find that out, which one Matthew's doing. But either way, nice to have you there, Tom. Moments of the session then, guys. We'll start with you, Tom.
Lance Stroll struggling, I think, isn't an exciting moment of the session, but it's definitely an interesting subject of the session.
Josh, what about you?
Well, my favourite part was Conor Moore's latest tweet, but if we go on track, then it's probably Alonso's fastest lap, 1:30.907, the first lap under the 1:31 barrier this weekend, but no spectacular spins from Piastri or Sainz today down at turn 10.
I want to say well done. Hello, everyone says happy day. F1 is back. Matthew, hello behind the man. That's Matthew, of course. Hello, Matthew. Brother JP, Alonso is the man. Stroll sounded quite impatient with his engine on the radio, so I was bringing up as well. Looks absolutely fantastic. Fernando Alonso, though, is the fastest driver on Friday, 1:39.07. Is that time representative enough? We'll find out tomorrow when qualifying gets underway, of course. That's underway, 2:45 GMT. Session starts at 3. We do have practice 3. Remember, that's at 11:15. Green light, 11:30 GMT. And, of course, we've got the F2 and F3 first races. They're sprints tomorrow as well. And all those streams are available on the YouTube chat. My thanks to Tom Dillon. My thanks to Josh Turner. We'll see you all tomorrow. FP3, it's Megan and Richie and Tom, I think somewhere around the box, if that's the situation. I'm not too sure what's happening now with the order of things. But we'll see you tomorrow. It's all going to be fun, and it's all on top. Day 1 done. Just around about, I don't know, 65 to go. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.